It's the DAC European Qualifiers Grand Finals. Team Liquid versus Bears. This is game number 2 if you missed it. Bears did manage to beat out Cloud9 in a 2-0, a very tense game 1, which Cloud9 put up one hell of a fight, but game 2 very one-sided, whereas game 1 of this grand final, it's already turned very one-sided to Liquid. Looking to be the top dog in this European qualifier. Or is Bears going to show them something they don't expect? They already did something we didn't expect in Game 1. Picked up a Centaur support in a Slardar-esque fashion, but didn't exactly work for Bears. Maybe they need something a little bit more reliable. One of the things it's not going to be, though, it's not going to be Earth Spirit. Team Liquid first ban that one.
Yeah, I think Bears needs to step a little bit more out of the box. Unfortunately, it's typically Liquid who we have the unexpected picks coming from, like we had mentioned earlier, the Meepo threat, the Lycan freshly introduced threat. Bears they've played a lot of matches during this qualifier, and I think they've shown most of their cards, but if they have one left up their sleeve, well, damn it all, now is the time to show it, because right now I think Liquid has their number.
Well, I mean, it seems like Liquid did respect that Centaur, though. They ban away a Centaur. Maybe, they're also afraid of an offlane Centaur for whatever reason, but it does give Kuro a pause, and he bans it away instead of banning away the Lone Druid. Maybe that is... maybe the Centaur would have gone well with Bears in whatever lineup they plan to do with this Lone Druid. Maybe that's Kuro's thinking, because very clearly he's baiting out the Lone Druid. He instant picks the Slardar, and he goes for a Dazzle next.
How much Lone Druid have you seen in 7.02? Because I have not seen it yet, and I'm really curious to see how the nerfs have taken effect.
I've already seen it. It still seems it still seems quite strong, but it's not to say like it wasn't unbeatable in 7.0, right? So it's got to be, even though the nerfs didn't hit him incredibly hard, it's got to be a bit easier. One of the things I've noticed is that teams have tried to get very aggressive into Lone Druid and mess up his timing, where Lone Druids, I think, are a bit weaker, around 20-25 minutes, and then also hit them very hard before they get to level 20, which is usually around 30-35 minutes.
Yeah, because it seems like, well, all branches of this tree got nerfed, aside from Spirit Bear getting more armor, but I don't think that we'll see a primary Spirit Bear this game, even though it would be very fitting with the team name. I am... like, Lone Druid's still good, obviously, but it's not easy to push anymore, for one thing, because the range got reduced, and then the damage also got reduced, and while Lone Druid was kind of snowbally in this previous iteration, I think the most important thing was slowing down the snowball. And so not only are teams more eager to take the fight to the Lone Druid, but even if they give the Lone Druid a little bit of space, it's not as easy to recover as the Lone Druid.
So our bans include Terrorblade and Weaver, 2 heroes that match up pretty well against Lone Druid. One hero that is normally picked up against Lone Druid that is not banned is the Sniper, which is something kind of interesting. While Liquid, they take away Timbersaw, probably one of the better defensive style heroes, as well as the Axe. I guess the Axe is a potential counter initiator for the Slardar initiation. I guess that makes sense to some degree.
Yeah, but another common counter I see is Lifestealer, and Lifestealer is still in the pool. I don't know if Liquid will go for it, or if Kuro has some other carry in mind, but I am curious if Liquid's going to double down on this armor strategy. Go for Beastmaster.
This is
pushing.
I like this because Team Liquid was one of the few teams willing to run Beastmaster before he received the 7.02 buffs to his talent trees, and nobody else was touching him. And I think a large part was we established the meta of offlaners was being you needed to have an early mech sustain type hero, or you needed to be able to have a early initiator. And Beastmaster doesn't fill any one of those. He doesn't give you sustain, and his initiation is a bit delayed. But what Liquid did is when they grabbed this Beastmaster, they were very aggressive with 2 of their heroes, their floor position, and I think it was their safe laner. They were very aggressive and bought a lot of time for mind control, and he was able to finish up Necronomicon 1 and then went into the Blink Dagger. So his timing, it was actually a bit sped up than you would normally see on a Beastmaster, but also he was given the space to work with.
I think as a team, Liquid really enjoys Vision. Oh wow, Tidehunter. Now that's a hero I don't see very often. Very many times Liquid's drafts they're very oriented about knowing what's going on in the map. Like the last game we saw Caudal Ag, Spirit Breaker. This game we'll see Beastmaster as well. Liquid likes to know, like they want all the information possible, and then they're going to make an educated decision based off of the data they gather. Tidehunter is a hero that can provide a lot of unexpected data, especially with some good smoke rotations. I don't really know how much they'll want to play around a Ravage with a Lone Druid, because, I mean, Lone Druid, he wants to sit back in the fight. Tidehunter jumps in, gets a Ravage, but it's easier said than done, especially for such a high commitment spell.
Yeah, this does seem like something that is a bit out of left field. I know, like, whenever I explain the concept of, like, the mech or initiating offlaner, people always said, like, oh, but what about Tidehunter? Why isn't he being picked? Because he's both, right? He's sustained, he gets you an early mech, and he's a Blink Dagger initiator for you. And the answer is he's just too slow. In the fact that he's so cooldown dependent, and the meta before was very fast paced, 5-man team fight, go go go. It was very high octane, and Tidehunter, he can win you one team fight, but he's probably going to lose you the following two because of such a long cooldown on that ultimate. But I think we are slowing things down a bit. I think teams are playing a bit more split pushy. We found ways to be able to work around these shrines better. I think in general everyone is slowing down. We even saw Cloud9 into 7.02 slow down their pushes a bit more. So maybe that does leave room for the Tidehunter as an offlaner here, but a Tusk now being picked up for Bears, another hero that received a big 7.02 buff.
Okay, well, if nothing else, at least Bears is putting on an exhibition of what to expect from these buffed heroes. Did Tidehunter even receive, Tidehunter as a hero, every single time when I see his name in a changelog, I just kind of mentally gloss over it. But did he get any talent changes in 7.02?
Yeah, he did. I remember he got a slight experience buff. He has now what Tusk has at level 10. He has at level 15 a 35% experience gain as opposed to the 30% he used to have. And then Control left it. Looks like he has a level 25 talent, -5 gush armor to -6. That means nothing. So
no,
I don't think
the alternative is 20% cooldown reduction at 25. So okay,
yeah.
so it's not.
I don't think either one
talent.
of those. Yeah, that buffs I think very clearly does not put Tidehunter in his place, which is why I'm searching for a slight change in meta that allows this Tidehunter to be a decent pickup as the answer to why this hero is being picked for Bears rather than a 7.02 change.
Okay, but then the Tusk pickup, it kind of implies that you want early aggression, but maybe they want this like mech style Tidehunter, and then Tusk is just gonna, like a tiny toss style snowball the Tidehunter in, and then at that point the fight is well committed because the enemy team is like, okay, well, we're getting snowballed on, we need to take this fight. Tidehunter is also inside that snowball. I don't want to get close to it. I'm sorry, whoever's getting snowballed on, you're probably dead.
I think it is going to be a combination. I think it may be a combination of Bears taking some Cloud9 favor and using this Lone Druid to bully down early towers. And how can Liquid fight you when you have Ravage and Tusk to initiate? You just can't, especially with the early mech. So you're just going to have to let some of these outer towers fall. And they may also be searching for a tri-lane matchup and give Tidehunter a 1v1 versus Beastmaster, as he would be one of the few heroes that could deal with that lane thanks to Kraken Shell against the Boars.
All right, well, early game that works out, but I fear that Miracle is just going to turn Snowball into his plaything with the amount of setup that it'll offer, because so many of Invoker spells can benefit from that kind of telegraphed movement, especially if there are multiple heroes inside of it. And I mean, even if Invoker gets targeted by the snowball, he just ghost walks out and he'll probably be able to outrun it. So I am worried that this Tidehunter is going to be running out of mana a lot because he'll emerge from a snowball and be face first into an EMP.
Well, I think that kind of takes away the tri-lane, at least with Slark anyway. I don't think you're running aggro versus aggro. So maybe Rubik and Tusk are going to join Tide in tri-lanes occasionally and try and put pressure on Team Liquid, but it is very dependent on what their last safe laner is. It does mean Bears are going to be running a Lone Druid mid, and it also means they have I think, a very clear separation in timings. You have the early game where you can bully down towers, and you have this potential mech, and you have this Tidehunter Ravage and the Lone Druid taking towers and everything. You have this 4-man that feels pretty good in team fights and pretty good at taking towers 10 to 15 minutes. And then I think you have like this very deep valley where both Slark and Lone Druid are not the carries that they will be late game. And maybe they're pick-off heroes and split-push heroes, but they're not going to be as impactful in the mid-game as most likely Team Liquid's cores are going to be with the Invoker and now Necrophos, a very mid-game heavy fighting hero.
Wow. So Bears last banned out the Lycan, and I thought that would have fit in perfectly, and Liquid was probably banking on getting a Lycan. Necrophos is a direction completely opposite from that. Yeah, very mid-game heavy, but also not really the best against what Bears have. Like, I mean, it's Lone Druid in ranged form is pretty squishy, but I mean, like, Necrophos doesn't mind going against tanky heroes because Reaper Scythe just works on percentage base. Slark is going to be going into Shadow Dance, and I guess Ghost Shroud will help, but the Slark is probably going to get a very early Diffusal Blade, and I'm curious what Necrophos is like. How active is this Necrophos going to be? Because it's their one position, right?
I think, yeah, it's going to be a safe lane Necrophos for sure. I think part of it is the Necrophos deals with Tidehunter fine in lane, whereas melee heroes would be a bit inhibited. I think it's also the fact that Reaper Scythe is going to be a very potent tool against the Tidehunter, because if you think about it, right, if he gets stunned up once and nuked, he usually is able to rely on Kraken Shell to be able to take those disables off, and he can just go ahead and pop the Ravage as is necessary. But Reaper Scythe is not something you can just Kraken Shell off. So if he gets disabled, say Beastmaster stuns him or Slardar finds the initiation, and they look to nuke this guy down, right? And he gets the Kraken Shell, and he's thinking, like, okay, I'm about 2/3 HP, I'll just go ahead and Ravage now. He's going to get Reaper Scythe, and then the rest of the damage is going to come in from Liquid, and this guy is going to get dropped potentially before he has that big impact in team fights he's supposed to. Because Tidehunter is part of the thing is he gets Blink Dagger later on, but early on, he's supposed to be this mech cavern. He's supposed to be the frontline hero, the tanky guy that you can't actually bring down. Necrophos is the one hero who could actually respond to that, thanks to his ult.
He'll need follow-up from Liquid, though. Like, this Necro will not be able to do it by himself. And so Beastmaster is... these days, I don't even see Beastmasters get Blink Dagger first item. I see Necrobook be far more favored these days, though Liquid did not get the Lycan 5th pick, so maybe they will revert Beastmaster into being an initiator as opposed to being probably the push helper. But, I mean, it's going to be GH's Slardar Blink Timing and Beastmaster's first item, whatever it is, that creates the openings for Necro, assuming that Tusk doesn't snowball foolishly and do the initiating for Liquid.
Unable to take the enemy bounty rune, they will do a 2-for-2 split. But I do think you're right? It's like the Beastmaster's slow, the Invoker is a little bit slow. I think that Liquid are looking at a very solidified 30-minute timing when they have Blink on GH, they have Necronomicon Blink on Beastmaster. This is certainly not going to be a lineup that I think can contest the 10-minute push that we're talking about. Adam's stuck, and Adam is going to have to snowball into the trees to get out, but a huge heal comes out from Kuro and eliminates him before he could do so. So there's your first blood.
Man, he was really asleep at the wheel there. He could have eaten a tango much earlier. He could have targeted a snowball and basically broken down a bunch of trees, but he was pretty confident that he was going to get out of there. Enter Mind Control, enter a 3-hero Shadow Wave, and wow, okay, this tri-lane is already looking really nice for Liquid.
Yeah, big start. Adam's not even going to come back to lane. He's, with his early boots, is going to start making his way up to, I'm guessing top, though. You kind of need your level 2 to really pressure this this Necrophos. And also part of the problem is Anchor Smash is physical damage, which I believe should be ignored by Ghost Shroud, but I know there's been some awkward interactions in the past with Ghost Shroud and physical damage spells.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but regardless, as a ranged hero, he should be just fine. And as a ranged hero, mid, Invoker is usually fine, but this bear is causing a lot of irritations along with Adam just cruising around looking for a snowball if Miracle just thinks about going out of position.
Firo is getting no love in this safe lane, left with only Yapzor to protect him, and this aggro tri-lane, which does seem to be quite better for Liquid. Firo is going to be pretty delayed in farm, is not going to have his fast level 6. that he would enjoy. It does mean a little bit more free farm for Fada. As you said, he's dealing well with Miracle and getting a good CS advantage there, but I'm pretty sure you would much rather be Liquid in this laning phase. The Slark is not a hero that can afford a bad start.
And Firo would love to rotate, but Liquid is more than happy to bring the lane to wherever Firo wants to go. I mean, a Slark 1v1 against a Necro, yeah, sure, you'd take that any day, but that's not going to happen. So, I mean, Firo may go for a TP rotation a little bit later on. Hope that Tidehunter can bully out the Necro and maybe get some farm, but the way that this lane is going, like, Slark needs an early advantage against Liquid's team, because if Necro gets larger than Slark, then Slark is not going to be able to do anything. Its Ghost Shroud is going to be just free invulnerability mid lane. Nice.
Cold snap. Oh, the snowball. He doesn't even pick Fada. Unfortunately, the Sunstrike was not there, landing onto Fada. He forces the bear onto Miracle a little bit more. Both GH and Miracle are low enough. They could have died there, but no level 5 just
Bot lane,
yet.
Firo taking a lot of damage from axes, but he gets out.
Mind Control, very interesting builds. 1-0-2 builds, where normally we see Call of the Wild maxed out. I'm sure he's still going to go for that Call of the Wild maxed out first, but to start, he gives them the attack speed and axes.
Yeah, it is surprising, because usually Slarks have a really hard time having to deal with the boar, because there is no easy spell that they can toss to just get rid of it, and Rubik does not want to have to blow Fade Bolt, and at least Rubik is managing to get some farm as we get a charge in on mid, but GH gets discouraged.
Ferev wishes he had a different 1v1, but it's 17-1 to him, so he's still going to get the farm necessary. The problem is he can't really pressure Matumbaman, and even if Adam did come up top lane, they don't have the kill power, the burst damage to be able to punish that Necrophos. Mind Control is going to be pulled back. Oh, Jesus! Yeah, I was like, oh, he's going to get a pounce and a knee tower. Like, they'll get a bit of chip damage. The Crow says, no. Shadow Wave level 2. Fear me. Oh, it's a Sunstrike! Oh! Nice setup by Liquid. They are dumpstering Firo's Slark. He is getting no love.
Where do you go as a Slark? You can't, like, even the Beastmaster solo is an issue, which is why GH and Kuro are both going after this bear. TP rotation.
The ice shards could do a lot for them here. They're going to snowball onto Kuro. And
he could grave TP, but nope.
They easily get that kill. I thought for sure he was going to go for the Slaughter. I guess they're the same level, so it doesn't matter.
Nah, he got roared, and so he couldn't even do anything.
Yeah. So 1-2. CS lead for Necrophos and Beastmaster right now. His Beastmaster has level 4, soon to be level 5. The Call of the Wild is going to be all the more dangerous. Fada does not have Savage War, so he's going to be caught here. Telekinesis stalls up some of the damage from GH. They also have the Snowball on a Miracle. Fada sticks around for that one. They actually do get the kill. Nice pickup. GH drops pretty low as well. Fortunately, a Crush will delay the bear from pursuing.
These roots are saving Fada's life, and Invoker got an uphill miss as well during the cold snap, so yeah, Miracle's not having the best luck. Meanwhile, Firo going in on Mind Control, really aggressive.
Trying for it, he does have the rotation from GH, so Mind Control stands his ground, fights, does have the vision on it. Firo Sunstrike is going to miss, but it also means Firo has to go back into GH and Mind Control. The Crutch finishes him off, the supports just aren't there fast enough.
Another rotation, though. They
can catch Mind Control at least. Make that a pretty good trade-off, actually, now that I think about it. Firo, you hate every single death on that hero, but Mind Control was getting a lot more out of his lane.
And Yapzor needs all he can get as well, as Rubik is not getting very many levels. He just now hit 4 after that kill, so it's very important that the supports don't get left behind, because if your Slark gets left behind and your supports get left behind, then there's very little way that you can deal with the push, because there's no aggression coming up against this free-farming Necro. Another pounce on Mind Control.
Mind Control could be dead here. Mana. They have so much extra. The ice. Oh, Adam. All right. I mean, it's been a while since Tusk was, in the meta. He's probably rusty.
Very true. At least he has that pretty igloo cosmetic.
Yeah. Oh, I love that cosmetic.
Oh man, I know.
The quack every single time. And the penguin. Good stuff. Ferev had to go back to base. He's on a 1v1 against a Necrophos, and his shrine was down, so he couldn't stick around in lane anymore. But he does have his arcane boots, and he is working towards those mech. It's kind of one of those 1v1s. It's like the Nyx Assassin 1v1s, where it's like, you're not going to win that matchup, but you are going to get what you need to be an effective hero in the mid game.
If he was more concerned, he would have gone for an Iron Talon and he would have just said, screw it, I don't care about this lane anymore. I'm just gonna go jungle. But he's fine just getting Anchor Smash farm.
Picks up a quick gush kill. GH
Bot
is
lane.
sitting here waiting for
Invis.
Yapzor to be slightly out of position for mind control to finish him off. The Sunstrike isn't enough, but maybe the axes will be. GH tries to run him down. Does have another crush. Is going to wait for that.
Wow.
Okay. Primal Roar. Not like it has a long cooldown anyway, so.
True. Now 3 heroes bot though, so hopefully Liquid can get a push out of this because it's a fair amount of commitment just for a support Rubik. So Slark is, I mean, he sees everything that goes on. He's like, thank God that wasn't me.
I do feel like Bears, thanks to rotations, like a couple kills in bottom lane, but also the kills in mid, have managed to keep this static laning phase a bit at bay, right? If we just maintain our defensive tri lane down there and the 1v1 at top, Liquid would have had a huge lead by now, but it does seem to be kind of sticking around at just a 1,500 gold lead and around 750 experience. The tower is obviously going to mean a lot for Liquid. Big jump in gold for them, but I think for the most part, this setup was real bad for Bears, and they did the best they could with it.
Yeah, it's a marked difference from game 1, where I feel that Bears got pretty rattled by how much space Matumba Man was creating. They were like, we need to do something. And now they're going for a kill on GH mid. This is
Should be pretty easy. A snowball is going to come out, and no need for Ravage. And this is where this pressure that we were alluding to early on can come. They've got the Ravage. They don't have the mech yet, but the presence of the Tidehunter is going to be really hard for Liquid to deal with anyway, since he is so tanky. And you've got the level 4 bear.
Sunstrike.
Oh no, Firo dies again. Varev tries to TP to help him out, but they're not going to be able to get a counter kill onto Mind Control. Mid lane, they try and poke there, but it seems like this mid lane push, without the Tidehunter, I don't think they're going to be able to commit to this. So yeah, they back up a little bit.
I mean, hell, even with the Tidehunter, would they really feel
Adam, they
eager
know
enough?
you're here.
Oh.
He's got the snowball. He can buy himself some time. Oh, he actually snowballed to a creep there towards the very end. Nicely played. GH is still going to try and chase him down. Does have the crush, but it doesn't actually land in time. Telekinesis a bit too fast. Yapzor gets there just in the nick of time to save his ally, as he would have died to the follow-up Sunstrike, most likely.
Yeah, that was pre-casted. He was really banking on that crush landing. Otherwise, he could have probably skill shot the Sunstrike and maybe even got the kill freestyle. But now this push is a little bit more intimidating. Tidehunter is still in the bot lane with Slark. Looks like Liquid are shining up and they want to go in now.
And Necrophos just took the top lane tower. The mid lane tower is more important for objectives, but I think after taking that tower, Matu might feel comfortable TPing in. He did go for the Hand of Midas, so he is, despite his net worth, looks rather lackluster in team fights, but this will obviously... We knew Liquid were not going to be super fight heavy into Bears anyway. I think the fact that they've just staged a response and defended their mid tower is really good. Like, they've kept that tower alive without committing to fights. We know they're going to be focused more on a 30 minutes. Reaper-sized Sunstrike. That is a beautiful combo.
That's filthy. I can't... Like, I thought the Roar and the Sunstrike was disgusting enough, but that's kind of expected. But Scythe, have some mercy.
Nobody can 1v1 against this Necrophos. Not with an Invoker mid. Not once you get level 6, that's for sure.
So not really a 1v1.
Yeah, that's true. That is a heavy amount of damage that the Sunstrike's outputting. What is that? A 350 damage, pure damage nuke. Most of these heroes will go down to half health from that.
Including Varev, who is still working his way towards the mechanism, still around like 600 gold away, but at least he's doesn't have to be too scared of the Beastmaster, who doesn't have that much mana. But yeah, I mean, he will fall to the Sunstrike, whatever other ult is used combination.
Now a 4,000 gold lead, about 2,000 experience for Liquid. Fada turns to melee form, tries to get that extra damage out as he chips away at the mid tower. There is going to be the rotation. It's going to be Matu. Comes in and is going to lend that helping hand with his heavy amount of experience lead now. Level 12 by 11 minutes. That's what the Hand of Midas and that the solo pickoffs had done for him.
Oh no. Another failed ice shards. GH gets out. I don't really know if... Well, I don't know what the traditional Necro build is. Is it usually Blink Dagger first or no?
It depends. I think there's a different build for almost every single carry who's run the Necrophos. We've seen a couple of mid Necrophoses go Veil. We've seen the Madara. He goes for the same build almost every single time, where he goes Force Staff, Ags into Blink. Batu, this is, I think, one of the first Hand of Midases that I've seen, though I think a large part is the total free farm he had in the top lane, and really was not scared of rotations. So I think this is a very unique build by Necrophos that you probably can't afford too often, this Hand of Midas.
No, and unfortunately it does get spotted out by this Radiant Ward near the Dire Shrine, so now Lone Druids should probably pay a little bit more carefully. No, he's going back into range for him. This is risky. They get the tower. Matumba really wants to show off his Blink Dagger, but the rest of his team just isn't in position.
Yeah, I think they have to wait until the Blink Dagger's up on GH. We said the timings for Liquid, it's not going to be super early. They need to wait until the initiation is up on Slardar. And the, different build from Mind Control, not Necrobook, not even Blink Dagger first, Shadow Blade first.
Okay.
This is cool.
I can get into this, yeah. So, I guess...
I mean, a large part of this is going to be the Slark, right? He has no chance to Dark Pact in a lot of these situations. He's just going to get Primal Roared from Invis, Sunstruck, and potentially even a Reaper Scythe.
Assuming he doesn't notice that he loses his... Oh man, Firo going aggressive and punished.
Dark Pact not going to be there to save him. They attempt to try and snowball save. Adam is not quick enough, though. And Slark does go down again. This is Firo 0-4-2 now. We have not seen Firo shut down quite like this. We've seen him pressured. The mid lane, sometimes he's playing SF and such. He's been pressured before, but never shut down this hard.
It's because he was put in the safe lane. You know, Fada was just like, I want the mid lane this time. And, I mean, Fada's doing just fine. He's managing to take down the mid-tier 1, and he's hitting his timings. He has the Dragonlance and his first talent completed. But really, it's the second talent when Lone Druid really turns on. And I would hope that right now, with this fresh Blink Dagger on Matumba Man, that Liquid wants to turn up the aggression, and the Shadow Blade completed for Mind Control. But I don't really know if they're going to find openings.
Blink up GH. We'll see where they go. Maybe this will be a good smoke opportunity. First Blink Dagger timing is usually a very common smoke. But then again, Liquid can just play for more time. They're working. Montu is going to go the Aghanim Scepter first. I think that's respectable. Blink Dagger, I guess Force Staff is better against Ice Shards, but both Ice Shards and Snowball you're going to see coming. So I think Blink Dagger, this is one of the games he doesn't have to worry about like that sort of instant blink damage, where Blink Dagger as a defensive item is not going to be as warranted. I think the Blink here is a lot better than it would be in most games.
Yeah, it all comes down to how strong of an early game you were able to get away with, and it's very strong as we see them take an uncontested Roche. Tier 2 might go down bot. Forev is TPing to the shrine, so he might suspect something, or he might just be walking to his death. No, our team's gonna rotate.
Mind Control with this Shadow Blade might just be able to...
spot it out.
Nice counter. Yeah, that was a good call.
That was a very preemptive ward. Tusk had placed that whenever they were first pushing the tower, and this is one of the disadvantages of going the Shadow Blade on the Beastmaster. The other one, like, yeah, it would be great to get the jump on the Slark, but if Slark is paying attention, he'll notice that his Shadow Dance passive will have timed out, and he'll probably hit the Dark Pact, but, you know, it's all, like, you need to be really on point to get that.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, man. If Slark wasn't so far behind, I would say Bears are kind of doing what they need to stay in this game. I mean, Vada, he's had some pretty good farm. Like, that's not a problem. It's just that Necrophos and Invoker with their Midases are so far ahead of him, and as well as the Tidehunter, who now has his Blink mech. But hey, everything can change with the Blink Dagger, right? You never know. The Blink Dagger Ravage, you get the right team fight, and everything can go the way of Bears once again.
If Liquid hands them a team fight, right now they're just letting Matumba Man push by himself with a little bit of protection detail in the Radiant jungle, but, I mean, he has an Aegis, he's pushing this tier 2 uncontested, he's got his big ol' plus 40 damage talent, so don't let anyone tell you that Necro's not a split pusher, as GH finds a lot of Radiant heroes.
Nice smoke popping. GH was going to say he's well positioned to break smokes, and that's exactly what happens. Matumba Man does pop his first Ghost Round, has that Aegis, so we're probably going to have an engagement here. Matumba Man is very likely to go down, but Liquid are going to try and respond. Now, they don't have the Invoker. They just have the Sunstrike to be able to fight around here, but a Blink out from Matumba Man is going to be pursued out. The Gush slows him down, but the Boar is going to prevent a lot of Bears. GH was thinking about jumping forward and going onto Forev, but I think Matumba Man has made the call. He doesn't want to try and go back into that engagement without Miracle nearby. Miracle's here now, so they may continue the tier 2 push.
If they only had some way of making sure that Necro couldn't blink out, but they don't have any like pre-castable damage, and I think Telekinesis is on cooldown from Yapzor, so should have been a free kill on a Necro and an Aegis claimed, but I guess you'll take one half of it if you can.
I don't know if Bears fight this. I think Liquid's too big right now.
I've said that before, and Bears decides to take fights anyway, so here we are.
And they do have the Ravage. They're going to try and initiate on Fon and bring him down within Bears' sight, but it's not even close. They also have to save the Snowball towards the end there. What a turnaround. Liquid, they try and get too aggressive onto Bears, and they're going to pay the price unless maybe this Meatball is going to be enough. Here on the back lines, managed to get away with an ultimate, and it looks like he's good. He's going to heal off that damage. Matumba Man is going to get dropped. The pullback there is just enough. Yapzor gets him with the Fade Bolt. Weave. Oh my god, that's 366 damage from an Invoker with that last physical damage hit. Sunstrike is gonna miss on Bears. Liquid, I think they actually paid quite a heavy price for taking that tier 2 tower. They picked up 2 supports on the side of Bears, but they got 1,000 gold from those fights. Looks like 371 on Tidehunter. He was the big winner.
Necro going down is critical, even though they didn't get the Invoker, and in most games you do need to be the most concerned about what Miracle is up to. At least they get this, it's a non-physical damage dealing core. This Necro is going to fall off at some point. Ag scales, sure, but Necro as a hero is going to cap out once he gets, if he goes for a Dagon, which I don't think would be a bad idea this game, he can keep putting levels in it, but eventually Slark might build a BKB, and then what happens?
Yeah, it did seem like Liquid just messed up the execution there. They weren't even close to killing Fada. They expected some sort of faster damage, and I'm not sure what that would have been.
They were kind of banking on the Sunstrike, but there was a 6 snowball to protect Fada, and so a lot of that damage was just mitigated.
Hero's going to be able to catch GH, but turn around, Reaper Scythe, not going to be close again, and there's the Snowball as well. The Sunstrike's going to come in. What a meteor deafening blast! Matumba Man's going to get saved by the Shallow Grave, and Bears, it looks so good. For one bright, shining moment, they countered the play of Liquid, and then it all goes to shit as Miracle craps all over them with a beautiful meteor deafening blast, and quite the save from Kuro.
Oh god, watch this bear in the skull. No. He's
run Bear.
He actually got body blocked by his creeps, and Fata used the return to continue the chase. Yeah, that Meatball, like I said, you need to be concerned about what Liquid is doing at all times. Matumba Man, just the decoy. Really nice snowball to make sure that the Slark didn't die underneath that Reaper Scythe, but, I mean, you can keep your people alive for only so long, and the support cast of Liquid are just doing so much more than what Bears' supports are even able to do.
They're not really capable of much. They're trying to get the Blink Dagger onto Yapzor. They're going to 4-man smoke up with a TP in from Forev. He blinks forward to take out some of these creeps that are harassing down this tier 2. Firo's going to make the jump onto Kuro. This defensive healer is the first one that needs to go down. He shallow graves himself, and Rubik will gladly steal that one. That is actually a very valuable steal for upcoming team fights as Liquid say goodbye to their captain Kuro.
Yeah, this is a maxed out Scythe, so Rubik is going to be able to cast that just fine, no cast delay, so that means that Tusk Snowball... Ooh, Sunstrike doesn't connect. Tusk Snowball doesn't have to be used exclusively defensively, but Adam might be able to use it aggressively, which, like, Tidehunter has been holding on to Ravage. We've only seen one Ravage this entire game so far, and, I mean, he's had a Blink Dagger mech completed for a while, so any fights that they can take while this thing is off cooldown, they just want to constantly keep Ravage off cooldown.
Yeah, you could see, you talked about it in the draft. You said that Snowball kind of T-balls up Invoker for really big plays, and that's exactly what happened mid, right? Without a Blink Dagger, Adam has to snowball in from a distance and just let it go, and he has to pick people up on the way in for most of the parts. So it means the Snowball, there's a very clear trajectory that you can see. It T-balls up the Invoker. Now that you've got this Rubik save with the Shallow Grave and the Blink Dagger now in, You don't have to have Adam with these
Oh, wow.
attempted saves that just allows Invoker to hit whatever he wants.
I am very surprised that Rubik was able to complete this Blink Dagger. Yapzor must have been banking a goal this whole time. He's 2, 3, and 3, which on a Rubik is a pretty standard affair, but I guess
Wow.
Tusk is... Oh, wow.
That's the blink, double blinks, Reaper Scythe, and a Sunstrike from Miracle, I believe.
That's
so.
an Ag Reaper Scythe, too, so this... Poor Slark. Not that he was gonna... Wait. Oh, yeah.
It doesn't
cooldown
disable
reduction.
buyback
Yeah,
anymore,
yeah,
yeah.
never mind.
It does mean it'll always be up for these team fights, and it means Liquid's initiation is all the more key. Once you have this Ags, you get that initial kill, and you get the big upgrade and Death Pulse, and all the regen comes his way. It means you just run over those team fights, because in not too long, the Reaper Scythe is going to be up again. And if that,
Like it is now,
Yeah.
as they push up this high ground.
and there's still 30 seconds left for the Slark.
There's no Aegis, otherwise Liquid would feel pretty gung-ho about going for this high ground push, but right now they're just cool. Letting Matumba Man get more items. I mean, I had said that Necro will cap out, but that's still a long ways to go. Right now he's going for a Shiva's, so a little bit more burst damage and makes this already sad Slark attack even slower. Diffusal Blade would have been nice to get, but Firo is a long ways away from that. Still going for an Echo Saber right now, so yeah, it's gonna take a while.
Yeah, it certainly is. Liquid. Mind Control is quite the innovator here. Oh, Blink Telekinesis onto Matumba Man. He does have the Ghost Shroud up,
Nice
but they
Savage
Savage
Roar
Roar him before he can actually get that off. Now gets off the Ghost Shroud, but it's too late. Forev's physical damage Anchor Smash spell did indeed hit him during Ghost Shroud, and that will finish him off. So,
That was clutch timing on the Savage Roar, because if he had gone into Ghost Shroud, they wouldn't have had enough damage to kill him through that little bit of physical immunity. I don't think he would have gotten out, but the rest of Liquid was coming into position. Kuro would have probably been in position for a grave, so they keep picking off Matumba Man, and it's valuable because the Slark is so far behind that every small kill, even though it's with his whole team, gives him a big boost. He's now level 15.
yeah, Slark getting some of those later stats. He's just actually... Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised he went for agility. I thought maybe strength was the option, but... because he's so squishy, but then again, every bit of strength you get is like its efficacy is halved by Reaper Scythe in the presence of that ability. So,
which is I'm also curious that Rubik went for the Blink Dagger as opposed to something like a Glimmer Cape, which would have been maybe a little bit more useful. But I guess right now they want initiation. If they can manage to find the Necrophos, they want to make sure they can keep him locked down. They want to be able to be the aggressors rather than just being like, oh god, we're getting scythed, I need to save all my teammates.
Miracle with his scouting Sunstrikes, always keeping tabs on Bears and what they're up to. They're checking out the Roshan pit, but Roshan is not up yet.
Lone Druid has quietly been farming away, has hit his level 15 talent, has a full Mjolnir completed, so this is... Bears isn't hurting for cores. We just haven't seen the proper initiation that lets these cores do their work quite yet, as Radiant Ancients, Yapzor.
He stole Corrosive Haze. That's going to let the Tidehunter do a lot more, even just right-clicking
Whoa.
GH. But Yapzor goes a little bit too far. The Reaper Scythe won't finish him off. Does receive a helping hand with the Ice Shards as well, but he's surely dead. They do manage to finish off the Slardart 1-for-1 trade-off, though. What happened in mid lane? Miracle, they actually managed to kill Fada. Mind Control and Miracle joined forces, and they're going to be able to get Forev on his way back to the base as well. Mind Control, I want to talk about this build. I don't know if you've ever seen anything like this, if somebody from the other regions has been picking this up, but this is quite a different build from Beastmaster than we've seen for the longest time, which has been Necrobook and Blink for time and time again. Shadowblade Vlad's into an AC. Mind Control turned himself into one hell of a right-clicker.
We're seeing that right now, even helping out the rest of his team be solid right-clickers. The AC isn't completed yet, so... it's not a full-on push, but 4 points Inner Beast, Hyperstone completed from Mind Control. Yeah, these are some serious right-clicks.
They have no problem bringing down the Tier 3 and the melee racks with their swarm of... they've got the whole entire zoo out. Pull back here, attempted by Yapzor. Not going to be able to catch the Invoker. They're going to try and go on Matumba Man just like before. Firo throws out that early Shadow Dance in fear of the Reaper's Scythe. And he will manage to blink himself away. Cuirass now complete for the Beastmaster. Hell, I won't be surprised if this game goes late enough. You could see like a Basher Abyssal Blade up next for him.
Yo, he took plus 12 strength talent, so yeah, I mean, he's gearing up to be able to slice people up with these axes.
Dude, he's going for the level 25 plus 120 damage.
Oh, hell yes. That's what I want to see.
Carry Beastmaster, baby. That's what he wants.
The most unexpected thing is the Shadowblade first, which I still haven't really seen this Shadowblade do anything. I mean, it's creative, sure, I love it, yeah. But aside from giving him some stats with the attack speed, he hasn't been using it for initiation. But Vlad's AC, I can understand that justification, but I mean, I kept harping on how Necrophos is going to cap out because he doesn't have any right-click. Sure, turn your Beastmaster into a right-clicker. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, the Beastmaster, this is like these two items, the AC and Vlad's. We should say those are common items.
See the smoke.
Maybe they can get the quick kill onto Matumba Man. They still have the Ravager. Going to throw it out now, thinking there's going to be more heroes behind it, but the Shallow Grave is still there. And now the Shrine, which Matumba Man's going to get the full heal out of. They managed to get a Meatball out, which is going to force 3 members of Bears back, while Firo is not doing enough damage to really be able to kill Kuro. They brought him down with the Reaper Sight, the Primal Roar onto Fada as well. The 2 damage dealers are dead. Yapsor tried to blink in to help out. It looks like Forev got hunted down by Miracle and GH, who are also going to be able to catch Adam. Throwing out the snowball, but he is not going anywhere fast. Look at that. Miracle, you're just styling on them. That is just naughty.
Juggle them. Juggle those balls, Miracle. Yeah, you earned that one. This is what I was concerned about with the Tusk pickup. And Starter was like, hey guys, Roche is up. And they're like, I don't care. Let's just win.
Yeah. No, nobody cares. GG called from Bears. And that's it. 2-0 from Liquid. They had an intense series the first go around, but Liquid, I mean, I said this whole entire qualifier, they looked unstoppable. They looked like nobody could touch them, and Bears, they laid a hand on Liquid once, and it seems like once is all it's going to be, as this grand finals turns out to be a very one-sided affair, and Team Liquid show themselves to be very clearly the most dominant team in the European qualifiers and well worth the invite to DAC.
Very clean play coming out from Liquid. I can definitely see why they were considered the favorites by most people in this entire qualifier, which isn't to say that Bears, Cloud9, or any of the other participating teams like Secret are that far behind, but this was one of the most cutthroat regions, and Liquid, they saw that hand that Bears put on them, and they just immediately chopped it off, because that was a really dominant series all around. Game 1, Game 2, well played, well drafted, well executed.
Yeah, Bears, shout out to them. I mean, this is their debut as a team. This is the first tournament that they've showed up in, and they put on a really good show. I think that they also looked very dominant. I think it was kind of clear that Liquid looked a little bit better, but Bears, they came out of a tougher group, and they also had a tougher day today. Unable to win that upper bracket final meant that they had to go through that grueling series, especially the grueling Game 1 against C9, who are also a formidable team in the European qualifiers, and I'm sure that did play its own small part in this series against Liquid. Bears had to play the long day today, but that is it for the DAC European qualifiers. Liquid will be going to DAC. Hope to see good things from them there, and I hope to see very good things from Bears in the future as well. As I know this team is going to be great. You can already see some remnants of some of their future greatness in hand already, and good times all around. Tsunami, anything else?
Yeah, I hope Bears stays together as a roster. We've seen many of these kind of unsponsored, fresh formation teams get a little bit discouraged by early losses, but recently rosters have been stable, and whenever there aren't free agents roaming around everywhere, then teams are more likely to stick together. So Bears, I mean, they played extremely well together. Again, like I had said it in the Cloud9 series, there was never a point at which I was like, this one player is really holding back the team. No, they were all playing very well. Just not well as Liquid, who now joins Invictus Gaming, who was one of the China qualifiers, Vici J, which is the other China qualifier, LGD Forever Young, which is another China qualifier, and IG Vitality, which is the 4th China qualifier. And then the one non-China qualified team so far is the Southeast Asia region with Team Faceless.
Yeah, DAC is certainly going to be some tough competition. I can't wait for that tournament. We are going to be having the NA. If you guys have been following the NA qualifier, and you're waiting till tomorrow for that playoff to begin, both CIS and NA will be going on tomorrow, but NA specifically will be going on tonight. That is going to be in an hour and 45 minutes time. Will be the beginning of the NA playoffs, and then CIS will start tomorrow. So you guys should definitely tune in to all of that. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thank you for joining Gods and I throughout this European qualifier. Unfortunately, technical issues on both sides cost us being able to cast the last couple of games together. But thank you very much for Lyrical for standing in for me yesterday during the Liquid Bears upper bracket final. And thank you very much for Tsunami standing in for the lower bracket final and grand finals. Tsunami, I know you don't have a whole lot of people on your Twitter, and that is a damn shame. At Tsunami, what was it? I don't remember the numbers.
643.
All right. If you have any feedback or any love to give Tsunami, go follow him on that Twitter. Thanks for watching, everyone.